Read them, Yade. Read them.
For filth. Sorry. No,
Read
I'm
'em.
not. I lied to you. I'm not
Kind of
sorry
like
at
how
all.
you read a book.
Oh.
That wow. Okay, Mr. Johnson down boots.
No,
like
actually.
that was crazy.
Oh, I thought he was setting us up for another live read.
That's
That's
Two
exactly
and
what I was
one.
doing.
That was exactly what was happening.
Wait,
That was
oh
exactly
my
what-
god. Wait, you read me for filth. And you know what they say about reading.
Hey, yo.
In 2023, the Georgia Governor's Office stated 21% of adults have low literacy skills. The U.S. Department of Ed reports that children with access to print reading materials have better literacy rates. Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network's ongoing book drive will provide a new or gently used book to every child at UWG's Pre-K Monthly. Give today by visiting the wolfuwg.com/book drive. That's the wolfuwg.com/book drive.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
did I read that for filth?
Yes, you
Yeah.
did.
Yes, you did.
Clock it. You ate that up.
Yeah.
Will, what can you read for Phils?
Hi.
Right.
I
right.
bet you are.
Excellent.
Sorry, I've been wanting to quote that the whole episode. I just had this.
Whoa.
That
that
is
in there.
so real. That is so real. Ugh, that is such a good quote.
You know, that's something I love about Abbott. It's
What's
all
some-
so quotable.
What's some of your favorite quotes? We still got a minute.
Oh, great.
He never sings from his diaphragm. God, like, I love that actually so much. I love that scene so much.
Sweet baby Jesus and the grown one too. I can quote that all day.
White. It's actually pronounced Wyatt.
Black. It's actually pronounced Zach. You must be Ava.
What?
These are all like actual quotes from the show. Like people say this in the show.
I'm eating my boiled chicken sandwich. Oh, boiled, man, that's the worst way to cook it.
What?
You know, one thing I would say about Abbott is like it's so random at times, but every single episode leaves an impression. Even the filler episodes leave an impression on you because, and even the tiniest little plot lines. Like speaking of the mall arc, we were talking about that earlier. One of the slight plot lines in like one episode of the mall arc, Mr. Johnson falls in love with another janitor.
I like that.
That's it.
Enemies to lovers. And when do you see that in like a
In
30
entirety.
minutes?
In
30
its
minutes.
entirety. You see them be enemies, be friends, be lovers, break up.
Sweet heavenly father. Good. In 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
I
But
like that.
30 minutes.
Do you know you have 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
hey, man.
Yes, 30.
That's the wonder of Abbott. 30 minutes of wonder.
But unfortunately, we're kind of out of minutes as our show is coming to an end. But yeah, we'll be here same time next week at 5 p.m.
No,
Well,
we
actually,
won't.
technically not next week because you'll be on break. We'll be back when we come back from break, actually. I hope you can survive that long because we're talking about Survivor 50.
Ooh.
Whoa.
These things just come up in the noggin.
Exciting. Well, yes. Well, yes, actually. And, you know, we're so sad that we can't be here next week. But, you know, we know you'll come back and watch us just like you're going to watch Abbott Elementary tonight.
Of course. Or tomorrow morning. Or just like every day of your life.
Forever.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode. And yes, we ask it above. Season 5 of Abbott Elementary, does this get the fourth wall break stamp of approval that you would watch it?
Yeah.
Approved.
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 Well, you have it there, folks. On go, we go.
On go
1,
we go.
2, 3, go,
Go forth.
You are now listening to Wolf Sports Network, live from the University of West Georgia in Carrollton, now in Odyssey Station.
In this season of Sports Out of Pocket, it's all luck, with returning segments like
Controversy,
Jalen Carter just let it get the best of him for some reason, and he decided to do it back.
Cash or Trash.
Do we think Joe Flacco can turn around the Cincinnati Bengals team?
And we're going all in for Fire Me Up.
Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay, Florida. Stop what you're doing and listen to me right now, sir. You have been the king of the NFC South for 3 years.
And we take our chances with our brand new segment, Look of the Draw.
today's categories: top 10 2010s wide receivers. Parker, you pulled.
Did I just pull AJ Green?
What?
And we strike gold with our interviews.
This is the Philly Sports Guy.
This is former MLB All-Star Justin Masterson.
Hey, yo, what up? My name is Josh Martinez from Z100 New York.
What up, guys? It's Tyrell Adams, former UWG linebacker.
And this is Sports Out of Pocket.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Sports Out of Pocket, Season 7, Episode 8. I'm your host, Jackson Voles, and around the table I have the most amazing cast, plus a very special guest from the West Georgia football team I'm about to introduce here soon. But across from me, we have Parker Andell. Parker, how's your day going, man?
It's going good, man. Excited to interview a football player today.
Yeah, I'm super excited as well. And to the left of me, making us all sound good, Michael Miller. Michael, how's your day going, man?
It's going great. Obviously, got to hang out with the old boys last night. Go watch the Wolves take on the Nerds in Atlanta. Got home pretty late, so I was a little tired this morning when I got up, but I'm feeling good now.
We'll talk about that a little later on in the show, but I need to introduce our special guest to the right of me, West Georgia O-lineman, Elijah Kennerdy. Elijah, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this, man. How's your day going?
My day going good, man. I appreciate you having me here, man.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you on. Now, my first question for you is, you transferred from a JUCO school, Garden City Community College, and we've interviewed a lot of your former teammates, teammates here at West Georgia who came from D1 schools. I want to ask you, what was it like navigating the portal as a JUCO player?
I ain't gonna lie, they kind of like treated the process as we was like high school kids, so we get like first dibs, so they come get us first. But it was kind of cool, I enjoyed the experience taking visits, so, just coming here is a blessing in itself, so.
What really drew you to West Georgia, though?
Being back south, being able to play back in the heat of the mix. Being in Kansas was kind of, out of my atmosphere, but, being able to have my mom come to a game and be able to watch me live one good time before I leave or do anything further in my life, it's good. It's always good.
In the short time that you've been here, going through practice and things like that, what's been kind of the biggest difference for you playing at the JUCO level now to being in D1?
Just being here, not just being here, but, like, how they are, they plan everything ahead. They make everything smooth. They include, they also are very big on your schedule off the field, so they want to make sure they're managing your time well. And, practice is also very organized. That's what I love about here.
Hey, man, you mentioned the heat. I'm with you on that. I played JUCO ball in Arkansas, and I definitely hated the cold, so I enjoy the heat a lot. But, being an offensive lineman, what's the hardest part about playing O-line that, maybe the fans won't notice kind of, in game?
Working is one, and being able to, call everything out quick, in the flash of an eye, and just being able to see things before somebody else see it, and how organized we have to be off the field and, before a play.
I'll tie that into my next question because I was going to ask, how does all five work as a unit, and kind of how important is communication, like, kind of work together?
Communication plays a big role, as being an old lineman, because, without communication, you wouldn't know what you're doing. So just having good communication is a big factor.
When it comes to the battles in the trenches, I know it's going to be your first D1 season with the Wolves, and you're looking at that very strong strength of schedule. I mean, Kennesaw State, just to name one. What's one game, and I guess your mindset heading into your first D1 season with the Wolves, I guess a game plan at the O-line?
Like what do you mean by that?
I guess, like, what is it feeling like, I guess, playing a higher level competition?
I play D1 talent in JUCO, so, I'm prepared to go against what I'm going against, and I'm not backing away from no battles. I'm prepared to do this.
Is there an offensive lineman either currently playing the NFL or somebody you grew up watching that you try to model your game after at all?
I'm gonna just say Trent Williams. Just him being as athletic as he is and moving the way he do. Even though I don't play tackle anymore, but I just like his athleticism.
So what's something like pregame, lining up for a game, what's something you look for in a defender that kind of helps you win that matchup?
Hand placement. Which side is it? You know, like where's his hand? Which hand is down? And it's you know, the defensive linemen always tell their first move by which hand is down.
Right. What might be like one of the best kind of D linemen you might have faced in your games?
In general, like
yeah, just in general.
Dang, that's a good question. Andy, it's a kid named Andy that played with me at Iowa Western.
Yeah.
He go to Kansas State. That's probably one of the best D linemen I ever faced.
Now, Parker mentions pregame, and I know we ask this to a lot of athletes, for game day preparation. Is there a specific artist or songs you listen to pregame before walking out onto the field, or maybe postgame meal that's outside of team foods like an Olive Garden or an Arby's or maybe like a Steak and Shake? I don't know. I'm just throwing out fast food restaurants there, but is there anything that you like to go to for pregame and then postgame?
Postgame song, I like to go old school before the game. Get quiet before the storm, and then I like to turn it up right before the game with some Fat Mac or something like that, and just pay attention a little poppy here and there. And post game, I really can't answer that. I really don't know. That's a good question.
Is there a go-to Carrollton spot that you maybe ate at since coming here after transfer portal?
I haven't really ate out here yet. Besides cookout, but that's what everybody get when they come.
They don't have cookout up north?
Nah. Besides like cookout and American Day, them probably the two things I done eat since I've been here. But I really ain't been eating out like that for real, I ain't gonna lie.
I recommend our sponsorship, Jefferson's. They have phenomenal wings, burgers, fries. I mean, a Philly cheesesteak. That's a go-to spot, for Jefferson's.
They got good fried pickles over there.
Yeah,
too.
good fried pickles as well. So, I mean, if you're into those kind of foods, that would be a great thing for sure.
That's the first time I heard somebody bring up Jefferson's. I ain't gonna lie, since I've been here.
Yeah.
That's the first.
Hey, on the way to the games, you stop for at the gas station, maybe get a quick snack or energy drink. What's your go-to like gas station order that you can get from the gas station?
We talking like Buc-ee's or like what we talking?
Just a normal gas station run. Bare minimum, you got to find something. What's your go-to you're looking for?
They say you're not supposed to eat candy with braces, but
you a rule breaker.
I broke that rule. Since
You have a favorite candy?
Lifesaver gummies.
Ooh, I like that.
Good pull.
I go get them on top of some Kennerdy and like 2 bottles of water, and
There you go.
Personally, I'm a big chocolate guy. Like some Hershey's, that's my go-to.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one.
When it comes to the chocolate and the candies.
What's your favorite thing to do outside of football? Like, I'm a big golf guy. Like, I love playing golf. That's what I'm doing. Like, whenever I'm not here, is just golfing.
I just started. I'm not gonna lie. I just started paying attention to golf and stuff like that. That's a good thing to do.
There we go.
But off the field, take my mind away from football in general. I play the game a little bit. Do a little playing the game. Or y'all got a lot of good nature walking spots since I've been to like two parks, 2-3 parks. Doing stuff like that. I'm also starting to pick back up on reading again. So that's something I'm starting to do.
So we talked about, I guess, matchups in the trenches, collegiate-wise, and that I know Parker brought up. I would like to ask you this, and you talked about Trent Williams being one of your favorite O-linemen. If you could match up with any D-lineman in NFL history on a one-on-one, maybe Oklahoma drill or matchup, who would you choose and why?
Man, that's a tough, but I'm going to go Vita Vea. I was just talking to my coach, my O-line coach, Coach Simmons. He said Vita Vea is like a Volkswagen, but the old ones, how they heavy and stuff. That's somebody I try to go and test my stress against.
I know Michael has a lot of beef with Vita Vea just being a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He's a big Atlanta Falcons fan. And
if you wear that uniform, I got beef with you.
Yeah.
Dang, just like that?
Yeah, it is like that. Well, with him, I'm an Eagles fan personally, so I'm due with success.
You got a favorite NFL team?
Man, I'm from the city, man, so I'm gonna go Bucks. I'm gonna have to. I done been.
It could have been worse though. You could have said Saints. That would have been worse.
Yeah, true.
Nah, I don't think I ever choose the Saints in any lifetime.
I mean, since we're on the topic of NFL free agency, and this is what this episode is about, you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. Mike Evans just went to the San Francisco 49ers. How high is your optimism for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading into this season?
I'm not gonna lie, seeing that at the practice, that was a crazy pull they did. I wasn't expecting that. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of thought they was gonna give him another year though. But when they did that, man, I think that broke the whole city heart. But the Bucs got a lot of slept-on wide receivers anyway, so I guess they just removed him to save a couple dollars.
Yeah,
or two.
Yeah, the Bucs will survive without Mike Evans. He's not their whole team. They definitely can make an adjustment to that. But what's a free agent you might be looking at that, hey, Bucs go get? I want this guy that you're looking at possibly, or trade.
I ain't gonna lie, I haven't been too deep in the NFL world lately. The one thing I did see though is the Max Crosby situation, how they traded him back.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I feel like this,
I mean, anybody is gonna want Max Crosby on their team. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles shipped off Nakobe Dean, bring in a guy like Max Crosby. So I mean, I would love. Would you love Max Crosby on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I mean, they can use him, but they got a lot of depth on that defense back there. So.
Oh, who wouldn't want Max Crosby though? That's the better question. Like, you're going to offer.
I mean, you said you're from Florida. I mean, from the Tampa area. What are some go-to, I guess, spots out there if anybody? Because spring break is coming up, and I'm going to Tampa Bay for spring break. So
I'll
what are
also
some
be in Tampa.
Yeah. What are some go-to spots in Tampa Bay?
Where you going downtown Tampa? Something like that?
Downtown Tampa, yeah.
That's a lot of good stuff out there. I mean, anything dealing with downtown, you can stop by and have a good eat at. So I recommend just.
What you do for fun in Tampa, like activity-wise, just you and the boys looking for a night out to go have some fun?
Me and my homeboys used to do a lot of bowling back home. Ooh. And we used to do, a lot of bowling. I haven't went fishing yet. I want to try to go fishing, but they did it without me.
I guess, Elijah, final question for you before we let you go. I know a lot of people want to make it to the next level, to the D1 level in football. What is advice you would tell high school student athletes looking to make it to the next level?
Grades come before anything. I'm going to just say that first. Grades come before anything. Make sure you film looking good. Making sure you treat people how they want to be. Making sure you treat people good on and off the field. And just build a connection with the people around you. And also, don't forget, man, stay on Twitter. Twitter is a good thing. Twitter can do a lot for you. And just make sure you got a good group or a good team around you to help you and promote you as a player.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a really key to success. I feel like in any occupation. I mean, we were at the Sports Management Expo earlier today, and, Trent Ross always tells us to shake hands, make connections. And
I was just there, too. I was there, too, for sports management class.
Yeah, I mean, every sports management teacher is going to tell you to shake hands, make connections, build a strong group around you because you never know how far you'll go. But, Elijah, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this, and we definitely wish you the best of luck heading into, your first D1 season with the Wolves, and we're glad to have you in Carrollton, man.
Man, I appreciate you guys bringing me on, man. I enjoyed talking to you guys today, man.
Yeah.
I'm just here so I won't get fined. We in here talking about practice.
It's time for the latest sports controversies.
Now, I know we talked a little bit of NFL free agency. We talked about the Max Crosby situation with Elijah. And, a lot of people were like, oh, Max Crosby went to the Baltimore Ravens. And then news broke out yesterday while we were at the West Georgia baseball and Georgia Tech game that he failed his physical. And the Raiders sent back the 2 first-round draft picks or the Ravens sent the 2 first-round draft picks back to the Ravens. So JT, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jackson.
What were your thoughts on the Max Crosby situation?
I feel like free agency, the entire thing with free agency is kind of stupid. I mean, Adam Schefter even said it on the Pat McAfee show. He said free agency doesn't officially start until Wednesday at 4 p.m., and everybody was already making deals on Monday, which was unbelievable to me. And, I mean, technically the trade wasn't sent through completely yet. I mean, there was still time to back through. Both teams agreed on it. But the fact that the physical wasn't passed through, that was information that wasn't known before the trade. And so I feel like it's perfectly valid for the Ravens to go back on it and say, you didn't tell us about this. And I feel like if any other team is trying to go after Max Crosby now, it's going to decrease his value a little bit because now they're understanding, hey, he might not even be available to us right away. Like, we need to make sure his physical is okay before he actually plays for us because he's a beast. And like Michael mentioned earlier, any team would love to have a guy like Max Crosby on their team. But when you look at it as, okay, he might not be available to us, that might drop it down from 2 first to maybe you have to replace one of those first with a second. I mean, still good value for a guy like Max Crosby, but, I mean, that takes his value down a little bit for me at least.
I mean, nobody wants an injured player, especially a guy with a high-level talent like Max Crosby, and that had the Baltimore Ravens settling for a just as strong guy. I wouldn't say he's as good as Max Crosby, but Trey Hendrickson, who's a little bit of injury prone, but, we've seen him have a 17.5 season at his peak, 17.5 sack season. So, yeah.
And I honestly think this was better for the Ravens in getting Trey Hendrickson instead, because you look at it and you didn't have to give up 2 first-round picks for him because he was already going to be a free agent. You got him at a lesser value. You didn't have to sign him to as much. Maybe Trey Hendrickson might have asked for more and seeing how much they were willing to give for Max Crosby. That kind of helped out Trey Hendrickson a little bit with that negotiation stuff. But I think it definitely helps out. I think that they're somewhat comparable. I mean, Trey Hendrickson's, I feel like, a top 5 defensive end. Max Crosby's like the 2 or the 3. But at the same time, I mean, you're getting almost the same guy for not having to give up 2 first-round picks, almost your future.
You know, Jackson, there's a lot of shady business going on with this trade. Like JT mentioned, people making deals before the free agency opens. And any team who had made this deal and realized that they could back out of it and save their 2 first-round picks and get a guy just the same capable as Max Crosby, who wouldn't do it? Am I right? So it's interesting to see. I'm waiting to see how it'll play out because I think a lot of things are going to come to light as far as what was done behind closed doors, because there's a lot going on that possibly we don't know about, maybe more than just a failed physical. So we'll definitely see what goes on. I think the Ravens might not be in the clear here, so we'll see what happens.
I just don't – okay. I feel like when we see these situations happen, which they're kind of common, honestly, throughout sports, not just in the NFL, MLB as well, you see some trades go down. A lot of times it's through trades, not free agency. A lot of these trades where you have situations where an athlete fails a physical and the trade doesn't go through. But sometimes you see it in free agency as well. The Braves was an example I was using earlier when I was talking to Richard about it. I was talking about the Braves almost signing Trevor Hoffman last offseason. And the reason the deal didn't get done is because he failed a physical. Braves don't sign him. And, I get there's concern when a guy fails a physical, and there should be some level of that. But at the same time, I just think we let it be kind of too overbearing. Trevor Hoffman ended up signing with the Blue Jays and was a critical part of their bullpen going all the way to the World Series in 2025. And really could have been here making a big difference. Max Crosby, we know how good he is. I don't really care that he failed a physical. That to me would not have deterred what I was going to do. But at the same time, if you can get Trey Hendrickson and keep those 2 first-round draft picks, that's obviously a way better deal than having to give him away for Max Crosby.
I just want to say I looked at Trey Hendrickson's stats over the past 5 years with Cincinnati, 61 sacks. And considering that they had 30 total sacks on the Baltimore Ravens defense last season, ranking 3rd fewest in the entire NFL, I feel like that's a major pickup for Baltimore. You have a healthy guy except for last season, and you signed him to a 4-year, $112 million deal. So, I mean, I like the move for Baltimore. But where does this stack up in the AFC?
I was going to say that I really like this move for Baltimore as well, going to get Trey Hendrickson, because we saw him. He was the only piece really on that Bengals defense. That was the worst defense in the league last year, maybe outside of the Cowboys. And so we're looking at it, and Trey Hendrickson, the one strong suit on the Bengals, which the Bengals need defense. So, I mean, I guess they were trying to free up some cap space. But going over to the Ravens, who we know on paper have one of the best defenses in the league, they just can't stay healthy. And so you get a guy like Trey Hendrickson, who has shown that he can produce in the last 5 or 6 seasons. Like you mentioned, 61 sacks. You have a guy like that added to a defense that can't really stay healthy, and it makes up for those losses that you have.
You know, Trey Hendrickson did produce. You know who didn't produce? The USA World Baseball Classic team, and I want to talk about our next controversy next because you have Mark DeRosa, who's the manager of Team USA, and I know we had a lot of discussion last season on Sports Out of Pocket when we had Eric Cole on saying who's going to be the next Braves manager. Michael wanted Mark DeRosa, and Mark DeRosa publicly said on Hot Stove that, hey, we already punched our ticket, and then turns out that wasn't true, and they had a loss to Team Italia with the likes of Kyle Teal and Michael Lorenzen, who pitched an absolute gem in that game. But, Michael, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think this kind of shows Mark DeRosa's not ready for a Major League Baseball manager position. Because, you can't do that. You can't go on a podcast, a show, whatever it was that he was on. It was on MLB Network that he did it on?
Hot Stove.
Hot Stove. So he goes on there, and he's talking about how they've already punched their ticket. Dude, if you're a manager, you're competing in something, you cannot be messed up with that. You've got to be extremely detailed, extremely focused on what you're doing. That just makes you look bad. And I'm not saying Mark DeRosa's not focused and he's not dialed in, but, that's just one of those things where – for athletes, PR training, right? You go and you have to do these things, so you can't sound a certain way. You have to represent whoever you're representing a certain way they want you to. For Mark DeRosa, you got to be professional. You got to know these things. It just makes you look bad. And on top of that, Like, we lost a bunch of future plumbers last night, guys. This is not what we need to be doing. There's a dude on Italy, I'm pretty sure, who's like, his actual job is he's like a history teacher or something, and he just competes in this like every 3 years, and he's in the bullpen. Like, that's what we just lost to last night.
It's a tough look when the manager of a national team doesn't understand the advancement scenario in the World Baseball Classic. I mean, it's pitiful. Not only that, but you're going to tell me that didn't play a fact in how Team USA played last night against Italy? Yeah, get out of here. The USA knew that, and they thought that their manager knew that they were able to advance without having to play hard last night, and I think they played a lot complacent, and it came up biting them in the butt.
Yeah, not just any manager is able to coach a team in the World Baseball Classic. And so you're looking at it, and you got to know, like, if you're going into the World Baseball Classic, you got to know what the standards are. You got to know if you've locked it up or not already. As the manager, you should know that, and you're probably telling your team, hey, we've already locked this up. Maybe that told them, hey, we don't got to try as hard. We already locked it up. But that's just not the message, and that was not actually true. So you got to do better as a manager.
And now our fate lies in Mexico's hands tonight against Italy.
Yep.
I mean, I'm super excited to definitely watch that. I'll be wearing my USA merch. And speaking of merch, when it comes to fandom, nothing matters more than the fit. The logo you wear solidifies your love. Now you can be a Wolf Sports Network fanatic with our brand new merch store powered by Osier Apparel. Visit wolfsportsnetwork.com and click About. Stay tuned. We're going to show some love to the other shows. Everybody listening at Z6, everybody listening on campus, even if you're not on campus, thank you so much for tuning in. We will be right back, and we're going to be cashing and trashing our takes around the NFL world. Stay tuned.
This is the Philly Sports Guy, and you're listening to Sports Out of Pocket on Wolf Sports Network.
Sports Pack is here for you, providing all the West Georgia sports content you need to stay in the game. Tune in to Wolf Sports Network every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. so you never miss a beat as the crew takes you through the wild world of UWG sports, while also keeping you updated with your local Atlanta teams as well. Don't miss out. Sports Pack every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7, only on Wolf Sports Network.
From West Georgia to the heart of Atlanta, sports don't stop. So neither do we. This is Sports Pack. Sharp takes, big highlights, and coverage to keep you locked in until the final whistle. Tune in from 6 to 7 on Mondays and Thursdays to hear what the crew has to say about your favorite team. Sports Pack, only on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
From the court to the diamond, Sports Pack has you covered. That's right, folks. The new semester brings an all-new season of Sports Pack, where every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7, the crew will take you through everything UWG athletics. We're talking men's and women's basketball, baseball, softball, and everything in between. You don't want to miss it. So be sure to tune in every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7 here on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
WSN, Wolf Sports Network, will have you covered this West Georgia basketball season with Inside the Coliseum, our 30-minute pregame show that will start 1 hour before select home games.
But we saw his ability to make those tough shots. He is a shooter, and he was second in scoring behind Shelton Williams-Dryden.
I think we just need to get everybody the ball as much as possible. I think we need to throw the rock around.
Join us as we cover both the men's and women's basketball seasons from inside the Coliseum.
Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We are collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting thewolfuwg.com/book drive. That's thewolfuwg.com/book drive. And if you're just tuning in, thank you to all our listeners over at Z6 and listening to on Wolf Sports Network.
Josh Allen, without a number one receiver, will never win a Super Bowl.
Cash or
the Cincinnati Bengals are better off without Joe Burrow.
Trash.
Now, JT, beautiful stager, and you talked about Josh Allen, the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, but I want to talk about two other quarterbacks in the AFC for my cash or trash. Now, in recency, The Indianapolis Colts placed a transition tag on Daniel Jones, but they ended up signing him to a 2-year, $88 million deal. And you also see in division with the AFC East, the Miami Dolphins now have their starting quarterback after moving on from Tua, bring in Malik Willis, who flourished in that Packers organization, to a 3-year, $76 million deal. Now, I want to propose this for my cash or trash. I think the Malik Willis I think the Daniel Jones deal is worse than the Malik Willis deal. Cash or trash?
I'm going to trash this take. I think that the Daniel Jones deal, yes, it's 2 years, $88 million. But when you really look at it, you're bringing in a guy that you know can win games in that kind of system. We saw it last year. The Colts started out like 8-0 or 9-0, something along those lines with Daniel Jones starting. Yes, they might have lost the next few and kind of went on a slump. But you've seen that in those first 9 games, they looked nearly unstoppable. And you're talking about Malik Willis' situation. He's going to a whole new team with a complete different system than Green Bay, and a guy that we really haven't seen much of in Green Bay. He's only had 1 or 2 starts really this past season, and so we're having him go to a whole new system. I think the Colts deal is better with Daniel Jones because you know he's a winner. You know what he can do in that kind of system. We don't really know what Malik Willis is able to do yet in Miami, so trash that take.
Sure, I'll cash it. I mean, they're both contracts that are a little overpriced in my opinion, but that's just what you pay for in the cute quarterback market nowadays. So they had to pay for what they got. And Miami needed some new light over there. They needed to get away from Tua, needed a new face in there. And I think Malik Willis is a perfect fit. I mean, he showcased what he could do in Green Bay when he got the chance, and I think he was waiting for a time to shine and get into the first string. And now he's got the driver's seat in Miami, and I think he'll flourish. But as far as Daniel Jones, I think he'll recover and come back just as nice and have Indianapolis looking good next season as well.
I really agree with Parker on that. I'm going to trash it too, but I do think it's a situation where I'm not going to knock really either team in this situation because the quarterback market is what it is. It's been skewed for a lot of years now. You're going to have to overpay for people. The Malik Willis thing, though, I think it's just objectively worse just because Daniel Jones has had success a couple of different times, right? He was with the Giants for a while, and he made the playoffs that 1 year, had success. He's had ups and downs there. He was having a lot of success at the beginning of the season last year with the Colts. He's got a lot of experience being a starting quarterback, and if he's got help around him, he can be solid. Malik Willis started 4 games last season, and he played really well in those 4 games, but it's 4 games, and he was absolutely dreadful in Tennessee with the Titans. So I think you're really taking a big shot giving Malik Willis that much money, but I also understand why the Dolphins did it.
Here's the biggest issue for me with Daniel Jones and rejoining the Indianapolis Colts. He had Michael Pittman Jr., he had Josh Downs, he had Tyler Warren, and he had Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce was just signed the biggest contract in an NFL free agency for a wide receiver for a guy who's going to get 3 or 4 catches a game and maybe 1 go for 60 yards. But, you lose Michael Pittman Jr. to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Daniel Jones doesn't have the same amount of weapons that he did in Indianapolis that he did last season. And by the way, they started out, 8-1 and then lost 5 straight games under Daniel Jones before his injury. So that's the only reason that I really push that. Malik Willis, I like what he did in the Packers organization. I like Sean Mannion and how he built him up. It's just the Dolphins have Jalen Waddle, and that's it. I mean, you have A-Chain. Yes, I understand that. You have first-year head coach Jeff Hafley. You bring in a first-year head coach and an offensive coordinator. So it's all new. It's all new for Malik Willis being a full-time starter. It's just a prove-it deal, really, for me.
I really like this Colts offense this year, and I think that bringing a guy back like Daniel Jones, I mean, you mentioned Michael Pittman obviously went over to Pittsburgh, but you still have Alec Pierce, you still have Josh Downs, you still have Tyler Warren, and you have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, one of the best running backs in the league right now. And, I mean, we look at Alec Pierce. He still had over 1,000 yards last year, and he's led the league in back-to-back years now with yards per reception. That is a deep threat guy. Daniel Jones, I guess, is able to make those throws. I mean, we've seen a little bit of it. But I really think that this offense is still going to be just as good as it was last year with Daniel Jones still at the helm.
I'll trust Danny Dimes to make some magic over there in Indianapolis. Weak division. The Jaguars lost Travis.
Travis.
I always get them mixed up. Travis Etienne left, and Texans kind of are soft as well. But I kind of want to lead into my cash or trash just because we're talking about quarterbacks. And mine is maybe on the cheaper version, maybe more on the expensive version, is Russell Wilson still has good football left in him, and I think he can make an impact wherever he plays, such as Arizona, Minnesota. We brought up a few landing spots back at the stew, but I think Russell Wilson still has some good football left in him.
I'm going to cash that. I'm going to cash that. I think the Giants season with the first 4 games was a little bit of a fluke. Nobody really succeeds in that Giants organization they recently fired Brian Dable. They bring in John Harbaugh. That Giants organization is going to have an extreme culture change. But when it comes to Russell Wilson, with his stint with the Denver Broncos, everybody was trashing on it too much because he was statistically playing like a top 5 quarterback in the entire NFL. Russell Wilson was only 2 years removed from that. So honestly, I think he has a chance to still start in the NFL at the age of 37, heading into his age 38 season. Given the right system, given the right weapons, I mean, he flourished in that Broncos organization, and everybody hated on it. But I think he still has good football left in him.
Where would you want to see him if you wanted to see him somewhere?
Arizona
wouldn't be bad. You've got Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Trey McBride. Jacoby Brissett thrived in that system as well.
I don't know. I mean, Arizona is open. Minnesota is open, but they're probably going to look for Kyler Murray with him being released from Arizona. I really don't know. It's wide open at this point. The only team I can really see is maybe Arizona as a team. But yeah, that's where my stance is.
I mean, I'm looking at it. Do I think Russell Wilson still has good quarterback play? Yes, he does. So I'm going to cash that. Do I think he's going to be a starter somewhere? I just don't see it. I think he's going to be that guy they have as the second string. He's going to lead one of those younger guys. I could see him going to a team like the Raiders and being that backup for maybe a guy like Fernando Mendoza this season. Or maybe you start Russ a little bit for this season, kind of get him going, and then Mendoza takes over either halfway through the season or you just lead him on to next season, and then Mendoza is all of a sudden coming out strong and being that guy. So Russell Wilson can kind of, pass along the torch. And also, he has that time with Pete Carroll already. Pete Carroll's now gone, but they still have that same kind of offense.
I'm glad you brought that up because he's showing flashes of that Super Bowl run, and I think he can still roll out the pocket, extend plays, lead scoring drives. I mean, he's got a deep ball in him. I'm pretty sure he threw a Hail Mary that was successful, I think, to Malik Neighbors at some point, I'm pretty sure, in the season. So he still has the ability to throw the deep ball, extend plays, and lead scoring drives. He's a leader, Michael. He's an old veteran that can take somebody's place in 2026.
I just don't see that happening. I don't think that he's good enough to start. I think that he has good football in him, and he might be that kind of guy that comes in 4 or 5 games on the season. Maybe your quarterback gets hurt, and he might win you half of those games, maybe a majority of those games. But I just don't see it happening where he's the starter the entire season.
I'm going to cash it, too. I think that he does have good football left in him, especially what Jackson was talking about. His stint in Denver was really not anywhere near as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. Now, obviously, it was nowhere near his Seattle run, obviously. I still think he can do it. The only thing with him, though, I feel like he's got to go somewhere where there's not going to be some other quarterback breathing down his neck. Ever since he left Denver, he's been in a situation, in Pittsburgh where they brought Justin Fields in as well. He had that whole situation going on. So he had that constant breathing down his neck, which he didn't play bad in Pittsburgh either, in my opinion. He played okay. I thought Justin Fields played better, but still. No, that's the point. Then you have Russell Wilson go and play in New York, where guess what? They go get Jackson Dart immediately once he's there, so they got him breathing down his neck, and the fan base wants him out. I think Russell Wilson has a pressure problem. I don't think he plays well in climates where there's a lot of pressure put on top of him. If he can go somewhere where, hey, maybe it's the Jets, or not the Jets now because Geno Smith is there, but anywhere else that you have a team where you're not expected to compete, not expected to be making the playoffs. Maybe it's Arizona that got some good weapons over there. Go somewhere like that, where he can just kind of chill, be the guy, and not have that pressure of somebody else breathing out his neck the whole time. I think he could have success.
I mean, the only opening I was going to say was the Jets and maybe a Geno Smith, Russell Wilson quarterback battle because, I mean, you still have Justin Fields over there, but, I mean, he didn't do anything in that Jets organization this past season. I'm looking at all the maybe openings, and I really don't know. Russell Wilson's probably going to have to settle being a backup quarterback because the only 2 openings I really see are the Jets and maybe Arizona because Lions, I mean, unless you go to the Vikings would be the only other option if they miss out on Kyler Murray. So that's going to be, like, really my take on it. So, yeah, Russell Wilson, I think he still has good football in him. Starting level, there's maybe 1 or 2 teams. but he's probably going to have to settle being a backup for right now. But, Michael, what's your cash trash for this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna go hit on my own team for a minute here. Some of the moves that the Falcons have been making, it just feels like this team and this organization with Matt Ryan coming in and knew everything, new head coach, new GM with Kevin Stefanski and Ian Cunningham. It feels like we're not like tanking, but it feels like we're okay with kind of letting this year go and just kind of trying to reset at this point. You let Darnell Mooney go, you bring in Jahan Dodson, who's a fine receiver, but it just feels like a really just kind of
It's
cheap,
a Darnell
shallow
Mooney replacement.
Yeah, but it just feels like a really cheap kind of shallow move there to just get rid of Mooney and bring him in. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons finish dead last in the NFC South this year. I think the Saints are going to make some moves. They're not done making moves, I don't think. They bring in Travis Etienne. They go get Caden Ellis, which I'm going to rant about later on. Carolina's getting better. Tampa Bay is Tampa Bay. I think we finish last this year.
I'm going to trash this take. I think that no matter how hard you think a team is taking, it's the NFC South, and it really seems like every single team in that division is tanking every single year. That's just the worst division in football, no doubt in my mind. And I think that even with the Falcons getting rid of all these players, maybe it's finally going to wake them up and be like, man, we still have a shot to win this division, even losing Caden Ellis, even with bringing in a guy like Tua, which I think could possibly be a good move, at least for this season, until Michael Penix gets back, depending on whoever you guys start. But I think that Falcons defense is still really good, even without Caden Ellis. And I think that offense, you still have talent. Like, you still have Bijan, you still have Drake London, you still have Kyle Pitts if you can use them right. And, I mean, it's a talented team, and unless it's just like a big coaching problem, I see no way this team finishes dead last in that division.
I agree with JT as well. I have to trash it. Michael, it just comes down to the bottom line of I'm looking at there's just too much talent on this roster. And I know you think the Falcons are cursed, and it's a competition in the NFC South every single week. Bryce Young can look like a Super Bowl MVP one week. Next, he can look like the third string on any given depth chart. So, and I'm not trusting that hype with Tyler Shaw either. Baker Mayfield, who knows what he's going to be next year. So I'm not counting the Falcons out just yet, and maybe it's my false hope that I want to hold on to just because I'm a fan. But I think Tua has some good ball left in him as well. I think he can give us a few good, strong weeks while Michael Penix is still recovering. And when Michael Penix comes back, he'll be ready to take the ship right by the wheel and lead us to the promised land.
You know, I'm looking at the NFC South, and the one thing it comes to is play calling. And that was a big issue for the Atlanta Falcons last season when they had Zach Robinson calling plays, and you also had Raheem Morris. Now you have a new offensive coordinator in Tommy Rees, who doesn't have a lot of experience in calling plays, and you have a new head coach in Kevin Stefanski. So when it comes to the NFC South, I'm very interested to see this because obviously the Saints are making moves. I'm big on the hype on Tyler Shuck because I love Kellen Moore and what he's been able to do with that New Orleans Saints offense in the later half of that season. And I think it could carry on depending on the moves they make in the rest of free agency. So I'm going to cash it right now. I think it's either a 3-4. They're either a 3 or 4 team. It's going to be between the Saints and the Falcons. I think it's going to be Buccaneers at 1, Panthers at 2, Falcons at 3.
You can't
Saints
tell me you
at 4,
trust the
either
Panthers
4.
that much.
I do.
I trust them more than I trust us.
I do.
I honestly trust the Panthers a lot more as well. I mean,
I like this. I mean, okay,
actually, wait,
I hate
no,
the
no,
Saints, but like
no,
I like
no.
what they're doing too, though. I'm
going to swap the Panthers and Falcons, and here's why. Because the Panthers' offense ran behind Rico Dowdle the entire time. And
gone.
Rico Dowdle's in Pittsburgh. So, I mean, you have Chuba Hubbard, who can't stay healthy to save his life, and a really terrible O-line. Who do they have? Taylor Moton? That's it. That's
Falcons have one of the top offensive lines in the league. Behind a great young defense. I mean, come on. You can't tell me you're that low on the Falcons that we're going to finish dead last in the standings in the NFC South.
I mean, we talk about a guy like Jeremiah Love that's coming out of the draft this year, and we saw the Chiefs. We might have thought he was going to the Chiefs. They go out and they get Kenneth Walker. We thought he might be going to the Saints. They go out and get Travis Etienne. Maybe the Panthers are now a candidate since they lost Rico Dowdle. Maybe they're a candidate to go out and get a guy like Jeremiah Love. I would not be surprised by it. And I think that he's a lot better back than Rico Dowdle is. And I think that he might be I might be going crazy saying that, but even as him coming in as a rookie, we saw what he did in college, and I think that he could replicate that in the NFL. And I think maybe the Panthers need to work on their O-line a little bit, but I still see the Panthers maybe winning that division.
I'm low on that stock, JT, just because we don't know what it's like having a rookie really running back like Jeremiah Love coming in. It's a lot of hit or miss.
We saw we saw the same thing with Ashton Genty, and I mean, even with a horrible O-line, he still put up good numbers, and he was still
the
maybe
only
a top 10
weapon
running
on
back.
that Raiders offense. Who did they have? Trey Tucker? I mean, Brock Bowers was injured for half the season. What are we talking about?
I mean, it's almost the same way in Carolina. Other than Ted McMillan, you really got nobody leading that offense. You have Bryce Young and Ted McMillan. You got no other weapons. It's the same exact situation.
Well, I'll say another reason why Rico Dowdle probably left is he was very upset with the shares he was getting split time with Chuba Hubbard a lot and not a real RB1. So he had to share a lot of time. So could be the ball to feed a lot of too many people.
I'm extremely high on Rico Dowdle, even though he's a former Dallas Cowboy. I'm extremely high on Rico Dowdle. And speaking of that, let's get into the lottery.
Surely I'll have some better luck this time. Hey, how's it going? I'll take one lottery ticket. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I just won the lottery.
Now, JT, since you made that beautiful stager, if you guys are new to Sports Out of Pocket, the lottery is a team, player, or coach we're extremely high, extremely low on. JT, I want to start with you.
So I'm going to start with the team that I'm high on, and that is the New York Giants. Now, we have seen I've been high on them all offseason so far, just knowing that obviously they've had some injuries this past season. But going into the offseason, I was like, if they make some solid moves, if they get another wide receiver, like if they make some good moves, upgrade that defense a little bit, that already young, talented defense, they get rid of Brian Dable, then I think that this team could be a 2 or a 1 in that NFC East. And the Giants have definitely made some moves in the offseason. I mean, I'm pulling up the tracker right now, but they have made a lot of moves. One guy I can really think about right now is completely blanking on me. But the Giants, the wide receiver that they got.
Isaiah Likely.
They got Isaiah Likely. They picked up 2 tight ends. They also picked up a receiver who I'm also blanking on right now to go along with Malik Neighbors. But they will have Malik Neighbors coming back. Scat's going to be fully healthy again. You still have Jackson Dart, who, when playing, he looked like one of the he looked like he could be Rookie of the Year if he played the entire season. And they have a young defense. They're no longer led by Brian Dable, which as a Buffalo fan, I know exactly about Brian Dable. He's not really a good coach, especially not head coach. And so I really like the New York Giants now. I think that they have a good chance to finish above your Philadelphia Eagles this year, Jackson.
Parker?
I don't really have too much to say about the Giants. I'll ride the boat with you. I'm super high on them, bringing in guys like Isaiah Likely and Patrick Ricard over from the Ravens. Got a lot of coaching experience with John Harbaugh. I think they'll thrive in the NFC East. Not much competition over there, to be honest. But I'll go on what I'm low on, and that's these free agent contracts. I mean, they are throwing out money like it ain't nothing, Michael. And I don't know about you, but I'd like to have some of that money. Alec Pierce getting this contract for what? What has he shown to get this type of wide receiver money, especially with other guys around the league, and he's getting this type of contract? It blows my mind to think that I'm thinking about this, and I have to put Alec Pierce and Amon-Ra St. Brown in the same tier because Alec Pierce makes more money than Amon-Ra. Like, that doesn't even sound right.
Alec Pierce, again, as I said it earlier, is a guy who's going to give you 3 to 4 catches and 1 for maybe 60 yards. He's a phenomenal deep threat guy, but I think you overpay way too much, and especially he's in the conversations with guys like Des Bryant when they re-signed him, and Des Bryant was multi-level better than Alec Pierce. So, I'm low on that too.
Just with all the money you're throwing around as well, like not to mention Malik Willis, the type of money he got for a guy who's not as proven as some of the other ones out there, and even Daniel Jones to a 2-year. What's he getting, like $40 million a year?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of their cap space already through 2 guys on the offense.
I feel like it's mainly in the NFL this is happening too. Again, I'm not huge in the NBA, so I can't touch on a lot of that. But in MLB anyway, it seems like kind of the salaries have been kind of constant anyway. Like if you're like a really good player getting a lot of money, if you're you're kind of getting what you're worth though. I feel like in MLB more so than the NFL. The NFL, you're having so many guys make so much money, and like for example, like Tua, for example, like he had some good years in Miami that were decent, but they're paying him $42 million this year. We're going to pay him like $1 million, but the Dolphins had to pay 42. So I'm very low on that. The pricing is ridiculous in the National Football League right now.
You know who I am extremely low on, and I'm going to say this because, JT was talking about this earlier this week. The Buffalo Bills and DJ Moore and all Buffalo Bills fans who think signing Bradley Chubb and signing DJ Moore to overpaid contracts is going to save their team and push them to like a playoffs. By the way, DJ Moore is not a top 15 wide receiver in the NFL. I can name 15 better. And I want to call out JT Groves for saying that Garrett Wilson was worse than DJ Moore and that you wouldn't have Garrett Wilson on your team, or you would have DJ Moore over Garrett Wilson.
I'd rather have in a system with Buffalo and with Josh Allen, I'd much rather have a guy like DJ Moore who can get open better. He's a guy that you can throw the ball up to, and he will come down with it. We've seen it in Chicago. We have not seen that out of Garrett Wilson, and I know you could say, oh, yeah, he's on the New York Jets. But even still, like, you're looking at it, he still had Aaron Rodgers, and that connection never really happened because he was getting outshined by Devontae Adams at that time. And so we're looking at it. DJ Moore, who was a wide receiver, you could say he was wide receiver 1 with Carolina in like 2020, and then he goes to a team where he starts to get outshined a little bit by these younger guys. Chicago understands they need to move on. I think we gave up a little bit too much for Buffalo, giving up a second-round pick. I think that was a little bit too much, but I still think DJ Moore is a top 15, maybe top 20 wide receiver, top 20, 100% top 20. And I think that it was a good move. You're giving Josh Allen his guy. It gives room for Khalil Shakir to also thrive as the wide receiver 2, not having to be the one guy that you rely on. Still have the tight end trio that we have there. And Keon Coleman is going to have a step-up year this year. He's finally going to show up to the team meetings. Joe Brady said the best thing that ever happened to you, Keon, is that you have me as your coach. And so we're not counting out Keon Coleman. He's going to be our wide receiver 3. I wouldn't be surprised if he might be our second or third receiving threat.
One word for Bills fans. Daniel Chaney, I want you to show this camera on me right now. Delusional.
Yo.
Delusional. For Bills fans, they think signing 30-something-year-old people who are washed, like Bradley Chubb, to a 3-year, $54 million deal? $44 million.
He may be old, but washed is one heck of a word.
I would not say he's washed yet.
I'll explain why I like these moves, Jackson. I like these moves because they're addressing things that they need. They desperately need a wide receiver. Josh Allen needs someone to throw the ball to. It allows Khalil Shakir to slot right at the wide receiver 2 spot where he's much more comfortable because he cannot handle a wide receiver 1 role. I also like I'm high on the Chiefs this year. I think the Chiefs will be able to come back and bounce back just like they always do. I've watched it too much nowadays. Patrick Mahomes will be back fully healthy. They've got an RB1. They've got Travis Kelce coming back. I think the Chiefs will be up there in the AFC. I think the Bills will be up there in the AFC. I don't think the Ravens will be up there in the AFC.
Whoa.
I think this doesn't fill the major hole/gap that they have on their team. I think there's a lot more that they need to address. With a new face coming in at head coach, it could be a lot different than I think. But I still do not trust Baltimore, so that's why I think Bills making these moves slots them right into the top of the AFC, and I think they can make a push to the Super Bowl. I think this is Josh Allen's finally time to break through.
Yeah, and I understand, 100%. Josh Allen is currently in his prime. And, I mean, you could argue, the last 2 or 3 years he's still been in his prime. But we're seeing it now that the Buffalo Bills have realized we have done all that we can. We tried Sean McDermott. We've made it to championship games. We made it to divisional rounds consistently. But we have never been able to get over the hump, and that's because we haven't had that wide receiver 1. And even when we did have Stephon Diggs, our defense was trash, and it sold us the game. So we're bolstering up that defense. Our secondary is still one of the best in the league. We're helping with stopping the run. We bring in a guy like Bradley Chubb, who is not washed, by the way. And then we bring in a guy like DJ Moore to finally be that wide receiver 1. The Bills are going to have a top 5 offense this year, and this defense is going to be top 10, and that's going to be good enough to bring us all the way.
Your Bills secondary is dog water. Don't hype it up to make it seem like it's that good.
The Eagles just signed Tariq Woolen.
And by the way, What a great analysis, JT. Josh Allen is in his prime. Not like he's like 2 years removed off an MVP and leading him to a playoff.
He's still in conversations.
What are we talking about?
He's still in MVP conversations. What are we talking about?
Obviously, but you're like Josh Allen is in his prime. Like what?
He's been in his prime the last 7 seasons.
Dude. And honestly, I'm high. You're not high on the Ravens.
That's
I'm
crazy.
high on the Ravens because you bring in a guy like Jesse Minter, who is a defensive-minded coach, and I understand that he's big on the whole defensive scheme, and you bring in a guy like Trey Hendrickson, again, third fewest sacks in the entire NFL last season. You bring in Trey Hendrickson, there's still many more moves to make. I'm high on the Baltimore Ravens.
Regardless of what you say, I do not trust the guy at the helm. That is quarterback 1, Lamar Jackson. I don't trust him. I just simply don't.
When it comes to playoffs, I mean, we've seen it in years past. The Ravens are known for not doing well in like the wild card, the divisional round. I mean, they made it to the championship one time with Lamar Jackson so far, and we saw what happened. They got beat by the Chiefs. And so we're looking at it still. And I just don't think the Ravens, with Lamar Jackson at the helm, they still have Zay Flowers as their wide receiver 1, and they lost Mark Andrews.
I mean,
or Mark Andrews is expiring his contract right now, and they lost Isaiah Likely as well. So, like, we're looking at it, and the Ravens are losing their weapons, and they're not going out and getting a wide receiver 1. All respect to Zay Flowers. I think he's a great receiver, but I don't think he's a wide receiver 1. I think he would flourish much better if he was a wide receiver 2, and you go out and get a different guy, maybe a Tyreek Hill.
A.J. Brown.
We're in the wake of NFL free agency. We're in the wake of NFL draft season. You know, there's a lot of gems that you can find in the 3rd or 4th round. And, you know, I'm excited to see what happens. But we're going to show some love to the other shows. And thank you to everybody again on West Georgia campus and Z6 for listening. But before we get into a quick division, college students who binge drink alcohol at least 3 times per week were roughly 6 times more likely to perform poorly on a test or a project because of drinking. Dream City Brewing Company, Wolf Sports Network, and Wolf Radio proudly remind you to drink responsibly. Students 21 and over should drink responsibly in an environment that discourages overindulging. Faculty won't take hangovers as excuses. But when we come back, we are going to get fired up about our NFL teams. Stay tuned.
It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. You're listening to Sports Out of Pocket, live on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
Wait a minute. Is this what I think it is? Wii Sports? Let's try something. Let me tell y'all about this show on Wolf Sports Network. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. It's the playbook. Hear us talk about all of college football, basketball, and baseball. Mondays from 9 to 10 p.m. The Playbook on Wolf Sports Network.
When you think about college sports, what do you think of?
Campus legends like Haynes King and Diego Pavia.
What if I told you there was a show for that and more?
More?
Playbook is your one-stop listen for college football, basketball, baseball, and UWG sports.
The Bulldogs have Ryan Nemhard, a great point guard, and they are going yard. Gonzaga in 5.
Tune into The Playbook Mondays from 9 to 10 p.m. only on Wolf Sports Network.
The Playbook is your home for West Georgia sports this spring. From University Stadium,
And we saw a very well put together offense that was trailing and going into the half, and then comes out in the 3rd quarter and puts themselves up.
to the Coliseum,
We're finishing well at the rim, being aggressive, being physical. A lot of guys are touching the rock. It's been a great start for the Wolves.
and Cole Field.
I hope West Georgia wins. I'm going to be rooting for West Georgia tomorrow.
The Playbook, live every Monday from 9 to 10 p.m.
Tune in to Wolf Sports Network throughout the week to hear the very best in UWG sports coverage. Catch live shows, score updates, and breaking news all week long. But sometimes seeing really is believing. And now you can watch your favorite Wolf Sports Network shows live on YouTube. Follow at Wolf Sports Network on YouTube as we bring you into the studio with your favorite shows and personalities. Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
In a recent survey, almost 53% of full-time college students ages 18 to 22 drank alcohol in the past month. That is why Dream City Brewing Company, Wolf Sports Network, and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign is here to remind you there is no drinking under the age of 21. Never drink and drive, even if it's one alcoholic drink, and add food and water when you drink so you don't end up texting your ex, which means know your limits. And also, If you're just now tuning in, you're listening to Wolf Sports Network, one of our live shows, Sports Out of Pocket, every Wednesday from 6 to 7, and we are about to get fired up. Jackson, take it away.
It's time to get heated with Fire Me Up.
Philadelphia Eagles. I'm super excited about NFL free agency. I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. We signed Tariq Woolen to a 1-year, $15 million deal last night. I thought I had lost all hope in Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie when they sent away Reed Blankenship. By the way, we're going to get delayed on the exciting Mike's podcast with Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship now that he's a Houston Texan. We get rid of the original Georgia Bulldog, Nakobe Dean, or my bad, the Philadelphia Bulldogs, Nakobe Dean. Now he's on the Las Vegas Raiders on a 3-year deal, and I'm looking at other guys we can possibly bring in. Max Crosby, I heard that you're still with the Las Vegas Raiders, looking for a new team, looking to contend. Max Crosby, you would fit perfectly in Philadelphia, man. I would love you in the midnight greens. I know I'm saving up my money for graduation. I'm saving up my money for housing when I move out. I'm also saving up money for Max Crosby Philadelphia green jersey. I am going to solidify that as the NFC East champions. Philadelphia Eagles. We just need to draft an O-lineman. If we don't get Max Crosby, this is a very heavy edge and linebacker class. So maybe get a guy like, Peter Woods is out there, Harold Perkins. I don't know if he's going to fall that far. I highly doubt it. But I would love to see the Philadelphia Eagles sign one of those guys and draft him.
Jackson, keep wishing. I already know where Max Crosby is going, and it's going to be the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, you look at it, and those teams were already involved in the deal. The Bills and the Colts were the top 2 teams outside of the Ravens, and the Bills just signed Bradley Chubb. The Colts haven't really signed an edge rusher yet, and so we're looking at it. It's all adding up that unless Max Crosby signs back with the Ravens, then he is going to go to a team like Indianapolis. So keep wishing, buddy.
He's not going to Baltimore since I got Trey Hendrickson.
All right, enough of this Eagles talk, Bills talk. It's time to talk Atlanta. And listen here, Caden Ellis, I don't have many words for you except you are a traitor. And I will not waste any more breath speaking about you because I cannot believe you go in division, not even leave the Falcons, but also go in division. So I hope we sweep you next year and go 2-0 where we will not be finishing last in the division. But I want to get fired up about Tua Tagovailoa, man. I'm so excited. I think he's going to be a great bridge QB to Michael Penix. I think there's a lot of things that Michael Penix can learn from him. A lot of people are not high on Tua Tagovailoa, but I am. If Tua has 100 fans in this world, I'm still one. If he has 0, I'm dead. So you know what? Let's go Tua. Let's rock, and I can't wait to see him in a Falcons uniform.
Parker, I love you. I do. But let me just say something. Jackson, you've been doing a lot of complaining about the Philadelphia Eagles right now. A very good franchise, winning culture over there, doing a lot of complaining. You could have, in the words of Scott Howard, Georgia Bulldogs radio play-by-play guy, Tua Tagovailoa playing quarterback for you right now.
No.
This guy is a bum, Jackson. If he gets hit one more time in the head, he won't be able to even eat food properly, and we're going to let him run the offense here in Atlanta. What are we doing right now? We let Caden Ellis walk away. And look, I'm mad at Caden Ellis for signing with the Saints, obviously, because you're being a traitor and all that. But look, we didn't re-sign him. Give him the money. He's earned it. Give him what he wants. Clearly, we don't care about winning this year like I talked about. I don't know what we're really doing because you go hire Kevin Stefanski. We're not going to hire Clint Kubiak and trying to restart completely. So we go hire this other guy. And Stefanski's got experience because that makes me think we're trying to win now, but apparently we're not. We're trying to just kind of sit around and do nothing because we're getting Jahan Dotson in here to just be a complete 500 football team. We're not selling. We're not trying to win. We're the Atlanta Hawks now. The Falcons are now the Hawks. We're just good with mediocrity. I hate being a Falcons fan, Jackson. I wish I could be an Eagles fan.
Dude, the Falcons have been in mediocrity for the past 8 years, Michael Miller. So, honestly, I feel your pain. Actually, I don't. I'm glad that I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I know JT's glad that he's a Buffalo Bills fan, and I wish you all the best of luck heading into the NFL offseason. But that is all the time we have for today's show. Make sure to tune in tomorrow because Michael Miller and Ryan Kroger will be interviewing Anthony Cole and Dom Murgo for Wolves on Deck. And stay tuned this weekend for some live play-by-play from Brandon Dyer and everybody here at Wolf Sports Network. But for Parker Andell, JT Groves, Michael Miller, Thank y'all for listening, and we'll see y'all next week.